Are you strong mentally, physically, emotionally? Do you think that just because you handle the pressure of the world, carry responsibilities, and face everything with your head held high, you're invincible? Think again, because Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest military strategists in history, left a warning that many still ignore today. Woman is the only weapon that works against the strongest man. And he knew what he was talking about, because Napoleon didn't fall on a battlefield. He wasn't defeated by armies. He was conquered by passion. What you're about to hear might turn your mind inside out. It might make you question everything you believe about strength, power, and control. But if you have the courage to stay until the end, you'll walk away with an understanding that few men ever reach. And that is worth gold. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and comment what you think about the subject. Have you ever been disarmed by a woman without even realizing it? If so, this video will show you why. If not, you might be living in an illusion. The Invisible War. When Napoleon spoke of a weapon, he wasn't talking about swords or cannons. He was referring to something far more dangerous: emotional influence. The kind of power that doesn't impose, but seduces. That doesn't invade territories, but occupies hearts. That doesn't need to raise its voice, because it already owns your mind. That's the weapon, and it's silent. Most men are prepared for physical confrontation, for direct fights, for logic. But no one prepares us for the subtle battlefield of desire, rejection, and emotional validation. While you're training your muscles, she's studying your silences. While you show off your strength, she's testing your insecurities. While you speak, she listens to what you're not saying. And the most dangerous part, she knows the power she holds, even without rational understanding. Because this power is instinctive, it's ancestral, and you don't even notice. Because there are no gunshots, no bloodshed, only an unexplainable feeling of defeat, loss, confusion. You ask yourself, why did she pull away? Why, after everything I did she lose interest? And the answer is simple and brutal. You lost the invisible game. You lost on a level where the rules were never explained. She doesn't attack and she invites. She doesn't yell, she goes silent. She doesn't demand, she withdraws. And all of this messes with your ego, your sense of self-worth, your emotional stability. On the psychological battlefield, Carl Jung said that every woman represents the anima, the feminine archetype within the male psyche. She is not just a person, she's a symbol. She is everything you desire and everything you fear. That's why the man who doesn't know himself ends up getting lost in the woman. Idealizing, projecting, handing over his power to someone who should only be sharing the path. And that is the fatal error. You turn what is a symbol into salvation, desire into dependency, romance into a prison. And in that exact moment, you become vulnerable because you gave your center to someone outside yourself. How many men do you know who stopped being themselves just to please a woman? Who changed their style, routine, friends, goals, all in the name of a love that, deep down, was just a reflection of the inner void they were trying to fill? The problem isn't love. It's getting lost in that love. It's forgetting who you are when you're with her. It's abandoning your mission to follow an emotion. And the cruelest part? When she realizes that you stopped being a universe and became a satellite orbiting around her, the magic breaks. The instinct that governs on the surface, it all seems emotional, but underneath, there's a genetic code. The woman seeks biological value. She looks for signs of security, leadership, inner strength, social ascendance, and none of that is rational. It's instinctual. She might love you, but if your symbolic value drops, she pulls away. You lose your aura. You lose your magnetism. You become predictable. You become too emotionally available, and desire dies. And when desire dies, the man begins to beg for what he should naturally radiate. And don't bother faking strength. Her instinct detects inconsistency. It detects insecurity hidden under bravado. It detects the man who acts to impress and not to fulfill his mission. Historical examples: Samson and Delilah, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Napoleon and Josephine. 3 men, 3 giants, 3 emotional tragedies. And the pattern is always the same. The fall doesn't come from outside. It comes from within, from emotional uncontrol, from idealizing the feminine, from symbolic submission. You can win 100 wars, but one wrong woman can dismantle you. And don't get it twisted. These women weren't witches, villains, or manipulators. They were simply catalysts of an inner weakness that was already there. They just exposed what the world couldn't see. Today, the battlefield has changed, but the war continues. Social media, validation games, dopamine rejection cycles. Men get addicted to female attention like it's a drug. They live to reply to messages, to be funny, to maintain interest, to please. But all of it comes from the same hole, the lack of a real masculine identity. Because the man who has no solid center needs someone from the outside to say, "You are enough." And that someone usually comes with long eyelashes and an enigmatic smile. Want to know if you're in this cycle? Look at your routine. Look at your focus. Look at your anxiety when she doesn't reply. Look at how much energy of yours is spent trying to be validated. And now you understand why Napoleon said what he said? The constant test, and the woman, consciously or not, tests. She must test. It's part of natural selection. She needs to know if you're a man or an emotional boy with a beard. She will see if you give in easily, if you trade your mission for affection, if you avoid conflict, if you apologize for existing. Each yes, each slip, each weakness is a loss of symbolic value. And she won't tell you this. She'll just drift away, because the man she truly respects is not the one who does everything for her. It's the one who doesn't bow down to her. And here lies a deep secret. The man she truly desires is the one she feels she can't control. True masculinity. So what should you do? Become a jerk? Hate women? Shut down your heart? The answer is not to distance yourself from the feminine. It's to integrate the masculine. It's to live with mission, with purpose, with presence, with inner structure. Nietzsche said, "What is good? Everything that heightens the feeling of power in man." And that power begins with self-mastery, with the ability to say no, to not react emotionally, to not get lost in the sweetness of a glance when your soul is still too fragile to resist it. Because the truly strong man is the one who feels desire and chooses not to lose himself in it. The rare man is the one who isn't conquered by affection. He appreciates the feminine, but doesn't kneel before it. He is seductive, but doesn't need to seduce. He is whole and doesn't beg for anyone's pieces. And because of that, he is desired. The woman senses when she is in the presence of a man who knows himself, who has already faced his own shadow, who doesn't live from lack, but from direction. And that is the kind of presence no beauty can ignore. The final choice. Napoleon wasn't weak. He was an emperor, but even emperors fall when the heart is more fragile than the crown. So now I ask you, are you still going to believe that strength is just muscle, shouting, money, and status? Or will you finally understand that true power is resisting what seduces you when you are not yet ready to receive it? Woman is the only weapon that works against the strongest man, but only if he hasn't yet discovered who he truly is.